Hey guys, and welcome to the newest episode of Be Hero Presents Slightly Agitated, where a bunch of idiots come on and attempt to talk about a topic, but mostly just try to piss each other off. I am your host and idiot numero uno, Brian, and with me tonight is idiot numero dos and current Devotion Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Josh Martinez. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
I am slightly agitated because Davon's actually here. It blows my fucking mind.
Well, thank you for bearing the lead there. And idiot number 3 and returning annoyance, Davon. How are you doing tonight, Davon?
I'm feeling pretty good because I've already got Martinez, the midget, agitated, and I'm ready to just go even deeper. I've missed you guys.
Well, I would love to say the same thing about you. And idiot number 4, the former Devotion Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Andrew Sowell. How are you doing tonight, Andrew?
TBD. I've already started drinking because you fucks took forever to get online. So, go me. So we'll see. I guess we'll see how we do.
Right on. And that's a perfect segue, sir, to asking the all-important question: what are we drinking? Since you brought it up so well, let's start with you. What are you drinking?
I am currently drinking Bacardi and Dr. Pepper Zero.
Grossness.
Which tastes just like Dr. Pepper, except different.
That's helpful. Thank you. Thank you for that rousing opinion. Davon, what are you drinking?
Gross.
You're welcome.
Well, like I was explaining to you guys before we started recording, haven't been drinking any liquor actually for the last about month, which I know, shocker. And so today's the first day that I cut open, it's called a Cutwater Lime Margarita, 12% alcohol in a can. Tastes pretty good.
That sounds like one level above drinking a box of wine.
No, it's way more delicious than wine.
But that's why it's the one.
The sodium level on this thing is amazing, and you know how I love my sodium.
You're all about that saltiness. Anyhow.
Yep. Just like Martinez.
Mustache.
Mustache.
What about you, Josh? What are you drinking?
Mustache.
I am drinking tequila and pickle juice.
Down with the pickle shot.
Yeah.
See, he's making me like him more. Shit.
I'm down with a good pickle shot. Especially after working out. All right. Dude,
after working out. Oh, now I'm picturing you with like raw egg and pickle juice and just...
Pickle juice, yes. Not so much on the raw egg. All right.
This is why you're small. You're not so well-sized.
There's a lot of reasons why I'm not so well-sized. I'm drinking Jack Daniel's Apple, which is actually really good.
Ooh, Jack Daniel's Apple.
I'm currently out of any mixtures of soda or anything like that, so I have nothing to mix with it. So I'm just drinking it straight, and it's still good. So, on the rocks.
On the rocks?
Yes.
Okay, like a gentleman.
All right, guys. So this week we went ahead and chose the topic. Davon specifically, since he's been gone for like 5 months, got to choose the topic for us. And that topic is the best and worst first-person shooter games. There's so many great options that we can choose from like the OGs of like Doom and Wolfenstein and Heretic, all the way up to Modern Warfare and Fortnite and PUBG and everything else in between. So, guys, let's start off with our favorite first-person shooter game. So, well, since you're over here to my right here on the screen, why don't we start off with you?
Favorite first-person shooter of all time?
Of all the times.
Of all the times.
We just went quick into that. Okay.
Yeah, there was no foreplay to this. It was just right to the point.
Yeah, no, this
Yeah,
is
I'm
literally
just spitting on it and getting it going. Let's go.
Um,
that's
it
how you rip a punani, but okay.
it used to
Davon's just
be
an asshole.
it used to be Halo, but I'm gonna go with
You son of a
probably
bitch traitor.
COD 2, Modern Warfare, the original fucking
The
shit.
original. Mm.
It's always a good choice.
That's my choice, just because. Yeah, it was so good.
Dude, the maps were fucking delicious. The storyline campaign was fucking golden. And
Yep.
that was almost like it was starting to be it was the peak, the pinnacle of the trash talking, ridiculous things that would literally get you canceled now if anybody heard any of the things that we said on that game. Oh, God,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
an actual
Yeah.
war zone.
It
Yeah, that game brought out the best and worst of people, myself included.
That might have been the game where I realized how dark I actually was.
The mirror didn't do it for you.
probably.
No, I'm white.
Right.
Oh my god.
I'm white brown.
All right. So Modern Warfare 2 obviously was a good choice from Sowell. Definitely a great game. Like we talked about, the maps were great. The story was great. It was also right there at the time where online play was really starting to become a thing. For myself with Modern Warfare 2, I literally fell in love with the game, honestly, just over one major weekend. I've been playing it for a while, but I fell in love with it on one very long, drunken weekend with a bunch of my friends and just never stopped playing. So, all right. Davon, what about you? Best first person shooter game of all time for you?
So, yeah, again, with no foreplay, I don't have a lot of time to think, but it's always going to come down to the original Left 4 Dead. That game, I've never played a game up until that point where it's literally you and just 3 other people trying to go through that campaign on top of the multiplayer on Left 4 Dead, where you were, for a round, you were the humans, and then you were also the special infected. And that game came out, and there was a group of people that I met online just through multiplayer that we ended up having our own little crew. We went through about a year and a half of that game, and that's actually the only game that I've ever unlocked all of the achievements on Xbox for the smarter people who play Xbox. But yeah, I 100% completed that game. We only lost like either 2 or 3 online matches when we were starting to do multiplayer, and we just
That's
lost
all right.
Martinez.
They'll be
He's
back.
gone. He just insynced us. I don't know. Just the concept of that game was just it was just my kind of style where it was all team play. You can't beat that game on extreme unless you're all working together. And with our experiences with Warzone, we know that I'm not a good teammate with you guys because you guys are cucks.
You're a fine teammate as long as we don't expect anything from you.
Or I don't get too drunk.
Yeah, that goes back to the not expecting anything from you.
No, but yeah, Left 4 Dead, that was the first at least concept for me. It was the same thing as kind of like Gauntlet or Golden Axe, where it was like you have to work with your whole team to be able to beat the game. But yeah, that's, if we're talking all-time favorite, nostalgia is going to play a big part in that. Left 4 Dead's got to be my original one.
Definitely a good choice. I put so many hours in Left 4 Dead. It's actually the first game that my wife and I played together. Yeah.
Really?
She's just never a big video game person. She didn't grow up with video games, really. And so there was a whole lot of video games that both of us played. But it was Left 4 Dead. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was the first one and not the second one. But we did also play the second one.
The second one was kind of garbage. They overpowered the special infected way too much where it wasn't even. But yeah,
Have you tried, what was the sequel? Backward Blood?
yes. It's a good game, but it didn't bring back the nostalgia for me. They overdid it. They overdid it in a good way, but I kind of like the simplicity of what the original Left 4 Dead was.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way on that one. Like, there was a lot of good about it, but not really enough, if that makes sense.
The gameplay was good, but just, I don't know, a lot of, not the storyline, but just like the story campaign and just the amount of special infected they had and stuff like that. It felt, I'm not shitting on God of War, but it felt like that kind of style of game where it was just like, hey, you go through all of these mids, these high level guys, and then all of a sudden you just have like this big, huge boss. And I don't know, it didn't creep me out. I remember with the first Left 4 Dead seeing the witch for the first time, and I've never been more terrified in a game in my life. And then a couple weeks in, me and my boys and Blood, it was one of the girls that we played with, we found out that you can one-shot the witch, and we were just like, oh, let's all balls up. You know what? Let's try and take the witch out in one shot. But I remember the amount of screaming that we all did when we first found the fucking witch was not. I've never experienced that with a game before where I got that terrified.
Yeah, I mean, the witch was definitely scary. I mean, I don't know if I'd be, such a bitch like you were about it, but
well, I was okay. Fair enough. I'm not going to say anything. I was maybe a baby, but it was scary.
Oh, I get you.
I may have smoked a little of the devil's lettuce in. I don't know if it was the same night, but I do remember a night playing with my boys, and I did rip the page. It might have been the page or a verse in the Bible or the Book of Mormon that was 420, and I may have rolled a joint with it and then went and played Left 4 Dead.
Well, I hope everybody liked this because it's obviously going to be our last episode after that. Jesus. God, Davon. Anyhow.
I may have smoked Jesus in that moment.
I may have saw Jesus in that moment. That being said, Martinez had to run off. I don't think he'll be back joining us. He had an emergency call he had to take. So, that being said, wish him the best, but he can fuck off. So,
he just didn't like me. I get it.
Well, who really does?
No one.
So for me, Halo, specifically Halo 3, is always been my favorite first-person shooter game. And I don't know. I can't even say it was because of the quality of the game. Mind you, the game was great. The maps were great. But it was the times hanging out with the boys, right? Almost every weekend there for a while. When that game came out, me and my friends, we would meet up at another friend's house and do like a 10 to 15 person LAN party with Halo or Halo 3, and we would just play the crap out of that game. That game both introduced me to one of my closest friends and also taught me how to be humble in a video game, because I was wrecking everybody for years until they brought a ringer in and he just beat my ass like a redhead stepchild. And then he became one of my closest friends and a former roommate of mine. So it's good times all in all.
Okay, so here's the question. We're about the same age, right?
I am now 40.
I'm 35.
So now I'm yes-ish?
Well, I remember skipping school the day that Halo 3 came out to camp out at a GameStop when GameStop was cool.
Yes.
And getting that game and playing it for probably about 48 hours straight.
I also remember staying up and going to get the game at the GameStop and missing work because I am older than you are and such. Okay. I was not in school. I'd already graduated by that point.
I was going to say, I probably was like either a sophomore or a junior at that point. But yeah, I remember skipping a day of school just to.
Yeah.
I called
Yeah.
off work for that game for Halo 3.
Oh, it's such a good game, though. All right.
And that Albert, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it back a little bit because I was honestly contemplating Halo 1 because that was my first experience ever doing a LAN party.
Oh, yep.
And I just remember my family was living like kind of in this condo complex, and there was two of the guys that lived in the complex and then one guy that was literally down the street. All of the guys in the condo complex would grab their TV, the Xbox, their controllers, everything. We'd walk over to the guy's house and we would be in this little, 15 by 15 room and have 4 TVs set up and 16 people in that fucking room and just be fucking going capture the flag on everyone's ass. And that was one of the moments in my life where it was just like, you're surrounded by so many people doing the same exact thing. And it was just like, you guys could go for hours with some pizza, some Code Red.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Halo 1 has a fucking special place in my heart always. It wasn't the greatest game. The campaign is one of my favorites of all time, and I'll argue that.
Yeah, the campaign was fucking dope.
Yep.
The campaign was, top of the notch, but it was just the fact that was like the beginning of like, I don't know how to say it, like massive multiplayer. 16 people playing the same fucking match.
Yeah,
well, that Halo was like 1, Halo 2 / or was it? Did they have like? Because you had to plug in your consoles together. I remember that. I remember doing that.
Yeah, you had to have a LAN bank, and then and everybody had to have a LAN cord into their original Xbox with that ridiculous controller that I still love.
Oh yeah,
I love that. I love that controller so much.
I love
it was so different
because we have man hands. That's why it's so well.
Yep, that's why. Is it too late to change my tiny hands?
Go ahead.
No, it's not.
So my answer for like the best first-person shooter is fucking GoldenEye on the N64.
Oh, very good choice.
It was a close one, but I sucked at that fucking game unless it was multiplayer. I never beat GoldenEye.
That was the game that because you'd have to download or print out like the fucking strategy guide because there were like there were things that like you
about? What's printing out
with a printer. So like that game like rewarded you for like how fast you can complete a mission or whatever. Then you would unlock like a special character for multiplayer, or like you would unlock like the golden gun or what the fuck ever. Like that was the shit. That was before your rewards were paid by your credit card.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in GoldenEye was the original. Well, no, not the original, but it was the original multiplayer.
It wasn't. Yeah. Which was crazy to think about is that
we'll talk about it. We had Duke Nukem and Doom before then, but GoldenEye was the original multiplayer game where it was like you could actually play against your friends and start talking some shit.
Quake actually was the OG one. On PC.
I never played Quake.
Yep.
Quake or Blood, if you guys played that game, I fucking love Blood. But like that's crazy to think that the multiplayer wasn't going to be originally on it. They just kind of were fucking around. And then they fucking loved it and just kept it in there.
That game, I have so many great memories of that game. So the overpowered character in that game, of course, in GoldenEye was Oddjob, right?
Yeah, Oddjob.
So
you were a real dick.
You're a real dick if you chose Odd Job.
You
Which
know
is
it.
probably
You know
why
I was.
That's probably why I picked him all the fucking time.
Yep. So specifically, there was a map. I want to say it was called Bunker. It was the laboratory where you had, like, from the first mission where you fall into the bathroom. In there's also a section where they had a bunch of like computer monitors and things like that, like a war room kind of thing. And at the top of that room, they had 2 sets of 4 giant CRT TV monitor sets, like sets of 4 in there. There was a glitch that you can do in that game that if you destroyed those 4 monitors from that point on during that round, the proximity mines would stay in the middle of the air wherever you leave them.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so I have a distinct memory that I was doing a 3-on-1 against the others, because that was the price for playing Odd Job when I was playing with my friends. I could be Odd Job, but it was a 3-on-1, and so they had done it because that bunker room where that was down a hallway, and there was a turn. And they had lined that whole hallway and that room up with the proximity mines in the middle of the air. And because Oddjob was so much shorter, if you placed them in the middle of the air right where they are for every other regular character, it would take a split second longer for Oddjob to set them off. So I literally ran through all of them in like cinematic style, just watching them explode behind me kind of thing as I'm running in to go and attack my friends who were in that that bunker room. They said it was the coolest thing they'd ever seen because you just saw the explosions running past this little midget going through and trying to attack them. I loved the crap out of that game. I hated the controller. But
you would hate the controller.
No,
the controller had a boner
controller.
Yeah, it had a boner.
Yeah, it did, and you would flick it, and it did amazing things.
Well, I mean, I was going to say it was more like a clip.
Oh,
that's
so
where.
Yeah, no,
that's no, that's what. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Between doing snack packs, just no spoon and just tongue, and then the N64 controller with the thumb, that makes a lot of sense now. Where I learned some skills.
Yes, and how you also get paid on your Saturday nights at the men's club. So now we talked some of the best games ever. Let's talk about.
I wanted to make a comparison really quick to Odd Job and Kirby and Super Smash Bros. I know that's not a first-person shooter, but it was one of those characters where it was like, really, that's how much of a dick you're gonna be. I always got that because Kirby's that's my character in Super Smash Bros. And everyone always gives me shit for it.
Yeah,
and that's how I remember Odd Job being.
The OG Sub-Zero was kind of that same thing in Mortal Kombat, the first one.
Oh, I thought it was Scorpion.
No, for me, it was always Sub-Zero. Whoever has Sub-Zero was the dick because it was so easy to use his abilities and harder for everyone else to use their abilities. And you would just spam the crap out of that freeze ball, and then they would just like sit there and like teabag in front of you the whole time.
See, mine was always Scorpion with the oh shit, I don't know I can't remember what it's called.
The teleportation kick.
Yeah, where you go on the backside of them and just spamming the fuck out of. That's why Scorpion's always been my G.
Yeah. All right, so let's go and talk about some of the worst games, first-person shooter-wise, of all time. So, well,
God, yeah, you're just raw dogging everything.
We'll break it down from there. Calm yourself.
Break it down.
Break it down, DX. Worst. I don't know if you guys ever played this, but like I rented it one weekend back in the day from Blockbuster. It was called Serious Sam, and it was fucking boring and repetitive and fucking awful. And it was like the first game where I was like, I have to waste my whole fucking weekend with this? Like, what the fuck? It was El Terrible, as the kids call it.
It is what I would consider one of the worst things of all time, and it was unrememberable. Like you can't remember any of it about the story, about the gameplay, or anything of that. For Serious Sam, for at least for me,
was there
Wait,
a
hold on.
fucking
I
story?
cut out a second. What game are you guys talking about?
Serious Sam.
Serious Sam.
Oh, never played it. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you asking? So well, I'm sorry.
Was there a fucking story? Because I sure as shit do not.
I don't remember.
I don't fucking recall.
I know I played the game. I remember not liking the game,
Yeah.
but I remember nothing about the game. Yeah, it's just not good. All right, Davon, what about you?
Fucking worst is a hard one. Because I can't even look up games right now to even like try and see something that I apparently blocked out of my memory. But off the top of my head, that's coming.
Giggity.
Yeah, giggity. Was fuck. I want to say it was Black Ops 3. Was Black Ops 3 the one that first tried doing the Warzone style?
No, it was Black Ops
gameplay?
4.
Was it 4? 4.
Yeah.
Black Ops 4, literally one of the shittiest games that I've ever played in my life. I remember like an asshole, I pre-ordered the fuck out of it because I was excited. I remember not liking Black Ops 3 all that much, but we've talked about this before, the addiction to Call of Duty. And we all said that we weren't going to pre-order anything after the last one. And I stuck to that. But yeah, no, Black Ops 4, I remember downloading that and trying the Warzone. I don't even think I beat the storyline or the campaign.
Was there a story for that one?
There was, and 4, there was no story. You had the character missions that you did. So you did an individual mission for each playable character, which kind of sort of storied. It's kind of like when you would play, like, again, Mortal Kombat or even Street Fighter or those fighter games when they would kind of build a story based off of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, yeah. Between that and then trying their Warzone style shit, that game was absolute complete fucking garbage. And
that
I
was a
remember
game
that was the game where I
up.
told myself, I was like, hey, I'm not pre-ordering any Call of Duties anymore. And then I continued to until last year.
What did you say, so well?
That was a game I passed up. I was like, I don't give a fuck about like battle royales at that point, because it was just like, because from what I understood was the whole game was just a battle royale, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm not interested.
Well, they didn't start off with the battle royale. The Black Ops, game. What was it called? It was a Black Ops.
No,
like they have a specific mode.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what it was called, but that one didn't come in right away. That didn't come at launch. You only really had the multiplayer. They added that like 4 or 5 months later.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't.
I played the crap out of it though.
Yeah. Oh.
That's when I actually met a couple of my friends who I've played COD with ever since. My one friend Gary, who you and I have played, Andrew, you and I have played online with before on Call of Duty. Me and Gary, that's where we first met, was playing that game, and it was. We enjoyed it for what it was for the Black Ops mode,
Mm-hmm.
but it was not worth getting because the campaign wasn't there. It's very much similar to the current version of Modern Warfare 3, where there's not much to a campaign. You don't really feel like you got your money's worth for buying the game fully. So, that being said, a Black Ops 4, I can see why you might not have liked it. I like Black Ops 3 though. I like how they kind of tied the story into the first two games, and I thought it was fine.
I remember liking the campaign of Black Ops 3, but I remember just absolutely hating the multiplayer and the maps in that game. I can't say anything about the guns, but yeah, no, I hated the maps in the multiplayer.
That one had the it was one of the ones that had the really crappy mobility movements that like Advanced Warfare did, and then that one did. They had that really like weird like wall run ability and like the weird special abilities and things like that.
Was that 3?
No, that that was 3 because to kind of tie it in, one of my favorite first-person shooters, very controversial, is going to be Call of Duty Ghost. Because that's where Advanced
Ghost
Warfare
was
was
good.
when they started doing the wall climb, but Ghost was the one where they introduced the sliding and shooting.
Which one's the one with Kevin Spacey? Is that fucking like
that was
Advanced
a Modern
Warfare
one? Oh yeah, no, it was Advanced Warfare.
Yes, it was Advanced.
It was Advanced, yeah. Ghost was if I remember
So I didn't.
right, Ghost was before Advanced Warfare.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I played.
And that's where they started introducing like the kind of the looser as far as like the gameplay where you could slide and shoot. I can't remember if you could wall climb or whatnot, but they got a little more advanced, and then Advanced Warfare is where they started doing the attachments with like the grappling claw and stuff like that.
So if I remember correctly, Ghost had the sliding, but it didn't have the wall run because you needed to have the special like bodysuit to do the wall run.
Okay, yeah.
Which came in 3, I believe. Had that as to start with, or 4? No, 3 had some of the higher tech weapons. It was in Advanced Warfare because you were essentially you were the guy who was like dead, but your body was put into like a robot kind of thing.
Yeah, Advanced Warfare was the one where they started doing the special abilities, which that's where everyone started hating. But Ghost was like, it was the end of that era. Is like they just added the power slide. But I remember loving the guns. Those maps were fucking phenomenal. I also killed at that game, so that could be a thing also. But yeah, Ghost was. It's in the top 3 of my favorite Call of Duties.
You're one of the few. What were you trying to say? So I'm sorry.
I don't care. I was saying like I took a break, I think, from Call of Duty. From like I did Black Ops 3, I think, and then didn't pick up another COD until Modern Warfare, whichever one came out in 2019, just before the pandemic.
That was Modern Warfare.
Because I was all about fucking Battlefield. That was the fucking game. That was the shit. Or Battlefront or Battlefield, whatever it's called.
Battlefield. Yeah. Battlefront was Star Wars.
That's right. Both EA, but it was that was the superior game.
Battlefront's one of the worst ones. Sorry.
Battlefront is the fucking we can say or can't. Which one are you saying?
No, Battlefront was one of the worst first person shooters I've ever played.
The remake from EA, yes. The originals, no. The fucking
I never.
Or was that third person shooter? Or was that a third person?
No, actually, oh shit, you might be right.
I think maybe those were third person. I think you could
go back. I think you. No, I think you. Oh shit! I don't know if you could go back and forth like PUBG.
In the remade ones that EA did, they were only third person.
Right. Well, unless you were a hero or a villain, then it was third person.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like the originals were good, but the fucking remakes were dog shit because EA and their fucking greedy ass tactics.
Right, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, bringing it back around for me, one of the worst first-person shooter games I ever remember playing. And I'll see if you guys remember this. When the PlayStation 3 came out, they were touting essentially the Halo killer, their exclusive first-person shooter game that would take down Halo 3. And I was all about it because I had just bought the PlayStation 3. I was super excited. The game was called Black.
Black?
Did you guys ever play this?
Is that the
I
one?
know what you're talking about, but I've never played it.
Hold on. Is that the one that there was a bunch of bullets on the cover?
Yes.
That also came out on the Xbox, so it being a Halo killer is ridiculous.
That was a PlayStation exclusive because it was meant to be the Halo killer for PlayStation.
No, it literally wasn't because I remember playing it on the Xbox. I didn't have a PS3. It was on the fucking. Maybe it came out later, but it definitely was on the Xbox, the original Xbox. But yes, that was
I'll look it up
not a very
I
enjoyable
need to
game.
look this up.
And just spoiler alert, Mike, I'm on Xbox Store now, and you can play Black, and it has the original
Never played
Xbox
Black,
logo.
but I do remember that. I do remember seeing that, and it was released on
it's
PlayStation 2,
not PlayStation. Yeah. I guess you're right. I could have swore that it was only that one. But it was a big tout. Like, that was supposed to be like the thing to play against Halo. Like, that was the thing to break Halo down and stuff like that. And it was a garbage game. The gun system was horrible. Like, there was no redeemable qualities in that game that I remember at all. It was just not a good game. Story was garbage. Yeah, I can't think of anything that I couldn't even get an attempt to give anything good to that game. Maybe graphics. I think the graphics were actually pretty good for the time.
They were probably very enjoyable.
But that's the only thing I could think I could remember out of it being decent. So, all right. So, with that being said, now let's go back in time, if we will. So, what was the first-person shooter game you ever played?
On the PC with my friend, and I didn't even know what the fuck a first-person shooter was. And he had these fucking floppy disk drives of the game that he inserted into his computer, and I was just blown away with the shit you could do.
Right.
I was like, fuck, how old was I?
I'm just laughing because I'm thinking of the gore from the original
like 100%
PC, which is like, dude, like complete garbage. But also at the same time, as a small child, that game was
brother,
kind
like
of
that shit. Yeah, man, you would fucking shoot a barrel or like shoot a rocket at a fucking demon, and the fucking animation of them like exploding into like a pile of guts. Granted, it's 2D, but
and
at that time,
as fuck.
brother, at that time, man, like fuck, like I couldn't believe like what I was witnessing, because like the only other like computer game that I had played at that time was probably like, I don't know, fucking something lame, like some educational game. That's probably my downfall, is learning about video games like Doom, and that's it's just been a whole, downward spiral ever since then. Thanks, Ian. That was the name of the friend that introduced me. Yeah,
thanks,
me
Ian.
to Doom. He introduced me to that game.
Oh man, Doom's a great game. To bury my lead a little bit, Doom was also the first one for me as well. But it was my dad that introduced it to me.
Thanks, Dad.
Because he was playing it, right? He used to tell me too that him, because he was in the Navy, him and a bunch of the guys on ship when they would play, they would do everything they could to try and get as many of the demons and stuff around the barrel to see how many they can kill at once. Like that was literally their goal half of some of the time. And so my dad got me into a lot of games when I was a kid. There was a Pitfall ripoff called Jill of the Jungle that my dad played the crap out of when I played. I played Oregon Trail for the first time on my dad's PC before ever playing it in school.
Oregon
Commander Keen.
Dude,
It's
one
good
of the
stuff.
greatest games of all time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That side tangent, but at my work for Christmas, we did a white elephant gift with my team and everything else. And one of the members of my team, we were fighting over this white elephant gift. It was Oregon Trail on a little miniature cabinet set up on the game. So it looks like you were in like a video game cabinet playing Oregon Trail. And it was 100% a real Oregon Trail game you could play, but it was the old school version of Oregon Trail. It was cool as fuck. And everybody fought over it trying to get it, but one of the guys got it on my team. And that's what he'll do sometimes when he's bored at his desk. Instead of working, he'll just bust out Oregon Trail in the cabinet and play. So, all right. Well, Day One, what about you? What was the first person shooter game you ever played?
Looking up some shit. Oh, my first memory of a first-person shooter was Duke Nukem. It wasn't Doom.
That was a great game. I fucking love that game. They released. I don't know if you knew this, Davon, but they released the fucking the originals on the Xbox One. Years ago, but I got that shit, and it was so fun to go back and play all those games.
I know I have the original Doom. I don't know if I have Duke Nukem, but yeah, no, I remember growing up in New York. I had a godfather, Ivan. We'd obviously go over to his house all the time, but I just remember a specific like New Year's Eve over at his apartment in New York in the Bronx. And everybody was kind of like partying and like just doing New Year's. And I remember sitting on his computer and just playing Duke Nukem, fucking little mutated fucking monsters up as like, I don't even know how old, like 4 or 5. And again, like it's nothing that we see now that like our 4 and 5-year-olds see now, but it was just like, just a gory ass game, just sitting here and being like, yeah, let me just go ahead and blow shit up. And I
wasn't even just the gore, man. It was his language, the chicks shaking their titties around.
Yeah, no, that was definitely, I mean, that's the only memory that I really have, unless we're going to... Actually, does Duck Hunt count?
No.
That's a first-person shooter.
No, that would call that more of a simulator.
I'm not arguing. Just now, those memories came back of that stupid fucking dog. I've never wanted to kill a dog more in my life.
So they did the Duke Nukem 64, and that was actually the very first video game I had bought with my own money. Was Duke Nukem 64.
Ooh,
way back when. I bought it with my birthday money. Yeah.
That was your first game? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm cutting in and out so well. What's your first game that you purchased 100% on your own?
Fuck, that's a goddamn good question.
That's a solid question. Mike brought that in like really quick.
I would. Fuck, what would I don't know.
Shit.
What was it? I definitely would probably have to fucking think on that. I want to say Halo, but I could be. No, it wasn't Halo.
I think mine was Halo.
Oh, you know what? I did a bunch of work, and oddly enough, since you're talking about Duke Nukem, there was a Duke Nukem expansion pack that I. Oh wait, no. Was this before? Yeah, like I had done a bunch of work and stuff like that, but like it was the Duke Nukem expansion pack called Duke It Out in DC. Like that was one of the first games I
Mhm.
believe I purchased on my own.
Duke Nukem's such a great game. I was so sad when they came out. What was it? 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Like
With the
10 years ago,
like
Duke Nukem Forever.
sequel.
Oh god,
Yeah,
that
was it?
game
Was it?
was so
Yeah.
It's
fucking
not that
good.
long
Yes,
ago, was
no,
it?
it was.
It was like over 10 years ago now because it came out before I moved to
You're
Utah.
old. Let it go.
Jesus.
You're old, Mike.
Duke Nukem. I am old, but
I need
I need to know.
So I do want to.
It
So it
was
was
like
not
12
10
years
years
ago.
ago.
I know that. Like,
Shut.
It was, yeah, closer to like 12. It was
yeah.
2011, which makes me
Because
feel
it came
really
out
old.
like well
So.
after, like, well before I moved to Utah. But that was a game like I remember in middle school being so fucking excited for. Because, like, you know, Game Informer or whatever would have the pictures or images of what the game was gonna be, and it looked fucking epic. And then for whatever reason, it was in production hell for you know fucking over a decade.
Yeah. Oh, sad
Well,
what we could have
I
gotten.
kind of want to
So.
bring up a random game really quick because just I guess going back kind of that. It's a little later than that era, but when we were bringing up GoldenEye, do you guys remember? Oh my god, I just lost the name. Shit, cunt. Whoa, you might have to bleep that out. I know.
Bro. One, I've never heard of that game.
I
And
know.
two,
Listen, I'm out
come
of
on now.
practice. I'm not house trained anymore.
Obviously.
Oh,
You were
I was
barely
better
Spain
house trained than
before.
I am right now. Oh fuck, I lost it. But I'll go ahead and put a filler. Did you guys ever play Nightfire on the GameCube? And I don't know if it was on any other console,
No, I didn't have a
but
GameCube.
007 Nightfire.
No.
GameCube was one
Oh,
of
that
the
was on
greatest
PlayStation.
systems of all time.
It was on PlayStation 2 or 1, I think.
It had to
Because
have been. It had to have been 2.
Yeah, I do remember the game.
It had to have been PlayStation 2.
Is that the one that had the like the
Yes.
claw gimmick that you can do, like
Yep.
the grappling hook thing? I think I do remember that because there used to be a cheap thing that we would do all the time because if you shot the claw out and then you just kept holding the button down, you wouldn't release it. So you can kind of pretty much just hang up in a corner. And so we would do that is we would come around the corner when someone was chasing you, shoot the claw up, hide up in the corner above there, and as soon as they ran past, you would be able to shoot them. And yeah. I learned all the dick tactics, man, back in the day.
God, yeah.
All the kind of
I just
games.
remember that game. They had a game mode. It was called Assassin. Basically, kind of King of the Hill, but it was 2 teams, and each team had a president, quote president, and that was your whole objective was just to go and kill that person. And it was just one of the funnest. Again, that was like kind of the intro into online multiplayer, online gaming. And I just remember loving the fucking shit out of that game. It was the first one since GoldenEye out of the 007 games that I was like, dude, this is a dope fucking game.
Yeah, I remember having fun with that one now, thinking about it. My same crew from back in the day, we played GoldenEye. Well, keep going down this path of games that we remember and see how our thoughts are from everybody else. How about the game that created the engine?
Oh
Unreal.
my god.
Did you guys ever play Unreal?
Dude, good pull.
yeah, Yeah,
flat
I definitely.
Such a
Cannon.
great game.
The flat cannon was the golden gun.
Mm-hmm.
I remember ruining so many lives
Yeah.
with that gun.
Besides the engine, of course, the Unreal Engine that was created based off of that game, one of the other things that is synonymous with first-person shooters that came from that game is the term fragging somebody. That's what it was called when you killed someone. You fragged them in the game for Unreal. And then Quake also did the same thing right after. But also having tournaments, right? Like Unreal tournaments, Quake tournaments, both of those kind of started the whole concept of competitive first-person shooter gaming on there. I mean, there was competitive gaming with like Warcraft and StarCraft and Age of Empires and other things before that. But there was, or not World of Warcraft, excuse me, just Warcraft.
Age of Empires.
Yeah. Yeah. But Unreal and also Quake, they were like the first real first-person shooter competitor games.
See, and I never
where you would do multiplayer stuff like that.
I never grew up with a PC,
and it was
so I didn't get to play a lot of those games. My first PC game, I think, was actually Warcraft and Age of Empires 2. Because Unite the Clans. Yep. Nope. I used that cheat a lot. I was one of them peoples.
Man, I've been around computers my whole life. My dad was in the computers. I've been in computers since then. So I've always had that around me. So I got to play all that stuff early. With like I said, Unreal and Quake. Quake specifically, Quake 1, 2, and 3. Like I played the crap out of those games as a kid, man.
Quake, it's on Game Pass.
Is it? I might try it because I
played that a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might need to try it out. I remember doing Counter-Strike for the first time, and this was, years ago, but it was also years past where it was beyond popular, or like past popular, and just being like, fuck. Yeah, no, I never had a PC that was like a gaming PC.
Oh, well, happily with Quake, you didn't need to worry about that.
But, okay, so going back, because I had that brain fart, the N64, when you're bringing up GoldenEye, do you guys remember Perfect Dark?
I didn't play that.
Yes.
But I do remember it.
Brian, it just eye to eye right now. I can't see, well, I can't see you. You can't see me, but I'm looking you in the eye right now. Was that not one of the greatest games ever? It was so fucking good.
It was so good, man. The gameplay was good. It was definitely a great, not direct sequel, but spiritual sequel to GoldenEye.
Company.
But it was an interesting thing. So
it was supposed to be the Wish.com version of GoldenEye.
But an interesting thing to that game.
They also honestly really competed with it because that game was so fucking solid.
Oh no. It was I would never call that the Wish.com version of GoldenEye. It was top tier. So much so that you had no, like what I'm telling you is it wasn't even supposed to be. It was meant to be the high end. And the reason I'm saying this is that game required you to go and acquire an expansion memory card drive for your 64 so that you would have enough RAM to be able to play the game.
Oh, I don't remember
That's probably why I didn't
going
play
to my friend's house and fucking playing it. I never had an N64.
Yeah, you had to get an expansion for it. It was crazy. But that's why the game was so good. The quality of the game was so good and everything else because it required additional memory on it. And, like certain people's Xboxes, it was also specifically branded where you had to use Nintendo's one because it wasn't just one like you can grab out of a PC and install. It was specifically designed for the 64.
God.
So, But Perfect Dark was a great game, man. I enjoyed the crap out of it. They came out with a sequel game or a remake of the game
It was longer than that.
within the last 10
I think
years.
it was like Xbox like fucking one. Look it up on your Google machine. Do it.
I'm doing it right now.
Shit.
They have it
I
on
may
Game
need to
Pass.
go back to that game. No. If it's not the remake, the second one, the second Perfect Dark I wasn't happy with it. I didn't hate it, but it was not the same. The original one. Okay, well, while you're
looking up IGN right now.
here's kind of an off-brand one when it comes to first person. It wasn't necessarily a shooter, even though you did get guns in it, but it was kind of Resident Evil style as far as like the gun wasn't the main thing. Do you guys remember playing Mirror's Edge?
Nope.
No, I didn't really get a chance to play it. I really
don't
have
know
a
about the
desire to play
sequel.
that or the
original
sequel
one,
to it.
though, it was like, at least as far as my experience or my life experience, it was the first person like kind of parkour. I'm trying to think of another game to kind of, it's not Splinter Cell necessarily, but it was more so of a sneaking around game, but being first person, and you were doing wall climbs, jumps, and basically just like parkour first person. Mirror's Edge was actually a really dope game. If you guys went back and played the original one, I think you guys would actually really like it. Well, Sowo would cuss a lot. Well, you both would cuss a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, probably. Yeah, it was just not like looking at the trailer stuff. It was just not appealing enough to me. And then with the Perfect Dark, it was the remake was the one back on the Xbox One or the Xbox original that I was thinking. But in process of reading that, they are in the process of doing another reboot for the Perfect Dark, which will be the one that's coming on the Game Pass. So, I just had another one in my head. I can't remember what system this was. If it was PlayStation or Xbox, but it was one of the two. There was a Clive Barker
Please say what
game that he had written the story for. It was called Jericho.
So, well, I'm sorry, Brian just kind of passed you. Keep going.
Most hated? Like what?
No, most loved. Most loved.
Yeah, I'm confused too.
It is a very low bar, but dude, you're the only person I've ever known that's ever brought up Jericho. Oh God,
I don't remember Jericho.
Just go ahead. I may just go jerk off here in the corner while Brian talks. Go ahead.
Please do.
The story was interesting. You're playing essentially a group of military a military team that's designed to go and take out these creatures and demons and things like that are coming back because it's the Revelations is going on essentially right now at this point. And your characters you play, you can choose one of 4 characters, and they all had special abilities. One was like had psionic abilities. One was like raised to be like a hunter, and like all these different things. The story was really cool. The gameplay was really fun. The problem with the game itself, and I think the reason why nobody really played it is it had the worst load time. Like between areas that you would go into, between chapters in the story, like there were times where it took like easily almost 2 minutes to load from one section to the other in that game. But it was a beautiful looking game. The gameplay was really fun. The story was fun, and everything else. But I don't know. I guess people didn't either think that Clive Barker can make a good story, and he hasn't made one since then, or whatnot. I enjoyed the game. I rented it from Blockbuster way back when.
I know, Ken, no.
First of all, so well brought up
True.
Blockbuster earlier, but I rented it from there back in the day, and I enjoyed the game, but I'll be honest with you, I never beat it because I just couldn't deal with the load screens anymore.
Honestly, yeah, when it came out, I remember playing it, beating it. I haven't even touched it ever since then. Oh, God, that was a blocked memory in my brain. I remember loving the shit out of that game. It was such a good one.
It was very fun for like the parts I played, but like I said, the load screens just took me out of it. I could not deal with it anymore.
See, now you're getting me. Oh.
Anyhow.
I can't think of the name of it. Shit. But I'll just go ahead and throw it in because we have talked about this. I don't think me and Sowell actually have ever played it. And I don't know if it technically counts as a first-person shooter because it's one of the choices, one of the Battle Royale choices. You can do either first-person or third-person. But PUBG has always been one of my favorite ones. I grinded the game back when it was, I think it was like 2 years in, when it was still in beta. And shout out to our good brother Gabe. Me and him were the one who kind of started just playing that game, and that's always been the most, in my opinion, realistic first-person shooter game. As far as like guns, ammo, the way you're getting shot and stuff like that. There's no respawns or anything, but it was just like probably the most tactical first-person shooter game that I've ever played. As far as like a simulation, it feels like you're going in and paintballing with your friends.
Yeah.
Or airsoft.
Yeah. I've played a lot of PUBG, and we've played, all three of us played together in the past. But I don't know. I just had a hard time with it, especially because cheaters are so prominent on that game. I've had a hard time wanting to go back and play that game. It makes it really difficult to know. And like, if you get killed, you get killed. But there's always that asterisk when you die, especially depending on how you die. When you're like, did I die to a good player or did I die to someone who's cheating? And it makes it like not fun to play. It's why I have a hard time with some Call of Duty games anymore for the same reason, or Fortnite for the same reason. But I want to give you a game to look into, Davon. If you like realism and tactical shooting, go look up a game called Ready or Not. It is a tactical shooter game.
That's on PC, isn't it?
Yes.
God damn it. I want that game, but it's on PC.
It's fun. Like, I've seen a bunch of people play it and stuff like that. It looks super fun. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to getting it because it's still in early access. It's not even like officially out yet. But it's very much a tactical shooter where you have to go through like hostage situations and things like that to try and take people out or subdue them or what have you. Like, but it's literally like the gunplay looks like it's real gunplay. The tactics, like you have the options to go in and like turn the lights off in the building and stuff like that, or whatever. And then like if you get shot, you die almost instantly. The flashes, everything else. It's a sick looking game. I would definitely recommend looking into that if that's something you want to look into for a tactical shooter game. So,
Okay. I'm going to have to look it up. Send the name to me.
It's called Ready or Not. It's not that hard.
But you also know my memory is not the best.
I guess that's true. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap this up real quick. Does anybody else have any video games that are coming to mind of ones they want to talk about, good, bad, or otherwise? First-person
There's
shooters.
a lot, but fuck. There's one on Xbox that I'm trying to remember that was just like... I can't remember the name. It was kind of like a detective, kind of Resident Evil. I'm going to message you guys once I fucking find it, when I can actually look on my phone. But I will bring up, have you guys played Borderlands, please?
Yes. In fact, I was
The-
playing that. I was playing a version of Borderlands. I was playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland right before we
I
got
hate
on.
you. I hate you. I still need to fucking do Tiny Tina's. Oh, fuck, yeah. No, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, I'm one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life. The storylines, the dialogue, the gameplay, Handsome Jack, which is probably one of my, which maybe spoiler alert in the future, we should do our top worst villains of all time. Handsome Jack's easily up in my top 3 of my favorite villains of all time. Borderlands pre-sequel's fucking an amazing goddamn first-person shooter.
It's very good. Very good. So, do you got any left?
First person shooters. Nah, I don't. At this fucking point in time, I'm fucking too drunk.
He's also playing probably some Call of Duty right now.
False. I'm playing UFC 5.
You're seriously? Oh, never mind. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay, Mike, do you got anything to finish off on?
Well, there's a ton of great games and a ton of bad games when it comes to the first-person genres, or first-person shooter genres that are out there. I'm trying to think of some good ones. I was going to mention Borderlands if you hadn't, so I'm glad you did. Of course, there's like Fortnite, which was always really good. Overwatch.
Fortnite's grown on me.
Well, yeah, but
Sorry
you've
to
been playing that
cut
with
you
your
off.
boy. You've been playing that with your boy, right?
Yeah, but I also haven't played Fortnite, so I'm on such a low level where Fortnite's too easy for me right now. I don't even need to know how to build, and I'll drop like 15 kills and get a dub, and it's just like it wasn't even hard.
Yeah, I always do the no build mode whenever I play. Overwatch was another one. That game ate up a ton of my time. It's actually got me back into PC gaming. The original Overwatch did. I love
still
the
haven't
crap out of
played
that game.
Overwatch. I want to.
Oh, I'm trying to think of. There's so many other great games in that same vein. But even like things that you wouldn't think of as like a first-person shooter game. Like I don't know if you guys remember the game Condemned back in the day.
That's the
Condemned.
fucking game that I was. No, that's the fucking game that I blanked out on. Oh, Condemned.
It
Yeah.
sounds familiar, but I don't remember it.
Oh, it was so amazing.
It was you were literally like in the electric chair, getting ready to be killed when all hell breaks loose, and you have to fight your way out. Dark Space, or Dead Space, which is another great game of that kind of genre. That apparently JC agrees with me.
JC, you're gonna be on the podcast now because you just laughed really hard.
The sickest fucking riff.
She's listening to music. Sorry.
Oh, nice. You're good. All
Dead
right.
Space. I remember
Dead
liking
Space
Dead
is good.
Space. Okay, but well, okay. Now before we close out, what was the fuck? It was supposed to be adjacent to Halo. I feel like it started with a D, but it was one of the games that you had. They let you play for free up until you got to a level, and then you started having to buy campaigns. Oh shit!
I do not remember this.
It was it was literally just Halo adjacent. Never mind. I'm gonna message you guys, and you guys are gonna fucking know.
Probably.
Yeah,
We'll see what
probably.
happens.
But yeah, Dead Space was one that I wish I actually fucking had a chance to beat, because I remember going to a friend's house and he showed me the game and played a little bit of the campaign. Oh, yeah.
That one was on Game Pass not too long ago. So, all right. With all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap that up tonight. I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This was actually a really fun episode, going down memory lane, some of the greatest games that we've played, and some of the games we hated. Sadly, Josh wasn't able to keep joining us for the night, but that's okay. I'm sure he didn't play a whole lot of games because he's a whiny bastard. Again, JC agrees with me. With that being said, guys, if you guys have a game that we did not bring up, which you liked or didn't like, please reach out to us on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Be Hero Media. You can reach out to me directly at Mike Burke DCW on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and on Twitter at Mike Burke Pro. You can reach out to Psycho, or that's the wrong podcast. You can reach out to Soel at
Done_so_well on all the stupid social media. Yeah, all the stupid shit.
And you can reach out to Davon at.
I don't get on social media a whole lot now, but you can catch me on Davon_turtle on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and then Davon Torres on Facebook.
All righty. And for Devotion Championship Wrestling, just to give you guys a heads up of what's going on with that. We have a lot of great shows coming up, including one tonight as this airs in Ogden, Utah at Kamikazes. It will be Tussle Time 10. So I'm excited for that one. It should be a great show. And then February 3rd, we will be right back in Salt Lake City at Light Tree Studios for Heartbreak Showdown, which will be a great show. And then on the 24th of February, we will be back up at Kamikazes in Ogden. And then on March 9th, we'll be right back in Salt Lake City for Match Madness. So get all of the tickets for all of these shows, as well as all the information about all the upcoming shows, and through our social medias. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Devotion Championship Wrestling. You can follow us on Twitter at DCW Salt Lake or Salt Lake City. It's one of the two, Salt Lake or Salt Lake City. And you can also find us on TikTok at Devotion Wrestling. All right, gentlemen. I believe that's everything we have tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I sure as hell did. And for the rest of Be Hero Presents, we have been Slightly Agitated. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Hugs and kisses.
Fuck you so well.